Thanks for joining me tonight. Always takes a minute before it comes up on the iPad so that way I can see the chat and then I'll be able to make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing. And I usually stream to TikTok as well. So sometimes if you see me reaching over, that's what I'm doing. So I hope you guys are having a good day. It is so nice here in New York. I'm so happy for the warmer weather. It finally feels like spring. And I feel like I'm one of those people that I definitely, like, when it's sunny, have more energy. So I'm so happy to have that. I feel like actually motivated. So earlier today, I've been working on a few different projects. Doing some filming. This weekend is another Marathon Society marathon. And so I've been working on that and testing a bag for another designer. So tonight I am going to sew up another pouch. I've been wanting to sew a pouch for a while. And actually, let me just adjust this so you can see me too. Sorry if it's like making you sick. Yeah, so normally like Tuesday, I don't like to sew anything if I haven't asked the designer if I can, even though it's a live and not so much like a structured tutorial. So earlier today, I just cut out, I did it in Illustrator just to make sure everything was even, but I just cut out this basic pattern, and I've been really inspired by sewing with the scraps of jeans. So I cut them into strips. So my plan tonight is I'm gonna sew them into like rows and then cut them out and make a little pattern, or a little pouch, I should say. Hi Arnetta, how are you doing? Oh, the cherry blossoms, those are my favorite. We live really close to the botanical gardens here in the Bronx. And if you live local, you can get like free grounds passes. And I love going in the springtime because the cherry blossoms and then the lilacs. Hi, girls. My sister's on. Hi, Addie. Hi, Winter. Hi, Willow. Winter wanted me to let everyone know today that she is riding her bike with no training wheels. So great job, Winter. We're proud of you. Hi, Terry. How are you doing? So thank you guys so much for all tuning in. We'll see how this goes. I'm hoping, I don't know if I did the math correct, that when I sew this, that I do box corners at the bottom, that the side will be straight. So I didn't, like I said, I didn't do all the math. So I'm hoping it works out, one of those trial and error type things. And we'll see how it works. And honestly, even though this is a basic pouch, when I have designed my patterns, that's what I usually do, is just go into Illustrator and try to map out all the pieces first, and then see if they work. So we'll see if this works. Oh, thanks, Terry. Yes, I'm doing well. So I didn't interface any of these, and the light colored fabric has a little bit more stretch than the other two pairs of jeans. So I'm gonna try to keep the top as even, but that's what's happening. I decided not to interface them. I think what I'm gonna do is I cut out, we'll see how like how sturdy they are at the end, but I cut out two pieces of fusible fleece that I feel like before I put it all together, I'm going to base the strips onto. So we'll see. In my head, it sounds like a great idea. So I'm hoping that it works. I'm sure many of you guys have heard me talk about this in either on lives or a video, but I save all my scraps, like I'm big into recycling. So I've had these pile of jeans for a while that are not good to wear. So I'm finally happy to be finding some uses for them. But also for the lining, I just cut some gray waterproof canvas, and this came out of my scrap pile, both pieces, and so did the fusible fleece. So I'm excited to be using up some of my scraps, of all things. Hi Nicole, how are you doing? And I like doing these small pouches, like especially during the week, because I work full time during the day, so a lot of my sewing or when I'm filming tutorials and stuff, that all gets done on like the weekends for the most part. So for the middle of the week when I don't have a lot of time, I really enjoy some of these smaller projects that come together quickly, so I can still get my sewing fix in and have that um sense of accomplishment, I guess, seeing like something finished. Oh, Nicole, what do you like to do with your scraps? I have a whole bin of like quilting cotton scraps that I want to do uh, like scrappy pouches out of. Yeah, same Nicole. I really enjoy the randomness of it. These I am gonna try to keep the same pattern going, and you can see the 3 different colors. But the purse that I'm carrying right now, I used a snippet pack from Cotton Cuts, which is like their offcuts after they do the die cutting, and I just like randomly sewed them together and quilted them, and it's the bag that I've been using for months now. So I cut each of these jean strips about 2 inches wide and 8 inches tall. And I just cut out 5 of each. I'm hoping that it will be enough. I'm just literally gonna lay it on and, make sure that I have enough. Applique Designs, Bitty Bug. Oh, the Bitty Bug is super cute. I have the pattern, but I haven't made it yet. Yeah, the carbon chics are, yes, the Hugo bags. Yeah, especially little scraps of vinyl are great for all the animal faces that she has for the different options. Hey Beth, how are you doing? Yeah, I save, like I said, all my projects. If they are bags for me, then I will like piece my SF101 or woven fabrics together, or even the fusible fleece, and then like scraps of waterproof canvas. I have some bigger ones like this, but then the small ones I will use for like zipper tabs, or if I install like rivets or snaps and there's too much space and I need to add some, I'll use that. Oh, Beth, yeah, I know you've probably been really busy though. I'm so happy to see you. I'm looking forward to our sewing marathon on Saturday. I actually have the bag here that I made. I'll give everybody a sneak peek. So once a month, there's a group of us that do sewing marathons. And so this month, it's the Unagi Clutch by Sincerely Jen Pattern Company. And it was really fun to put together. So I'm really looking forward to it. It comes in 3 different sizes. So I believe everybody chose a different size, or there's a good variety of the sizes and ways that we've put them together. All right, let me grab it. It's right here. So this is kind of on my Tuesday live last week. I did the winter crescent patch with the zipper adapted. So that kind of inspired me to make this clutch out of jeans. So I did the same thing with the 3 different fabrics. And this is the medium size, which is perfect for the wristlet. And I love the look with the antique bronze. The rivets are decorative features, but I really like the aesthetic of it. The pull is a sunflower. It's from Geeky Hardware, and I've had it for a while. I love buying variety packs of pulls because I use all different finishes. And then the inside, I used the sunflower water resistant canvas that I carry in our shop. So I'm super happy with it. I had a lot of fun making it, and I was inspired, so I was like, oh, what? I'm gonna make another pouch. Oh, thanks, Beth. Thank you, Nicole. You cut your scraps into hexies. Oh, Terry, I am terrible at hand sewing. Oh my gosh, I give you so much credit. I love the look of the little hexie quilts, or I've seen people even make little pouches or projects out of them. But I am always in awe of people who have the patience to sew like that. Maybe if I practiced a little bit and got better at the stitches. The most hand sewing I do is when my nieces call me because their stuffed animals have split at the seams, and then I have to do surgery. But other than that, I never hand sew. Oh, Beth, you do the little hexies too? Yeah, Sincerely Jen's patterns come together so nicely. I really like how they are written. It's funny, I think maybe one of these Tuesday lives, I bought the kit that Lauren Mormino sold. It was the box with Sincerely Jen that is like, her pattern was like the one with Mormino. And I've never cut into it, but I think the floral would be such a great like springtime purse that maybe on a Tuesday I'll have to do something like that. Oh, that's great, Nicole. See, I did not learn to sew by hand. Well, I guess in like Girl Scouts we made like little dolls and stuff, but I wouldn't necessarily, consider that. But what I like to do is if I'm like watching TV, I do enjoy like cross stitch. So that is by hand and takes time, but I think because I'm seeing like the picture coming together, that I enjoy it a little bit more than just sewing. So I guess maybe with like the hexagons, maybe it would be like give me that sense of fulfillment or whatnot. Yeah, Terry, I agree. I have a lot of trouble just like doing one thing. Like I don't watch a lot of TV. If I do, it's like sports or educational, like National Geographic or animal type shows. I think I've watched like every shark episode that's available on Disney Plus. So I also like to be doing something if I'm like watching TV. Yeah, exactly, Nicole. Same thing. I don't think I've ever sewed a Y seam. I would have to Google how to do that. Oh, Beth, you like Jen's patterns? Yeah. I was like, wow, Beth, I didn't know you hand sewed too. I was like, that would make a great video. You should do a pattern on that. Oh yeah, Arnetta. Arnetta, now that it's getting warmer, are you switching or do you knit all year long? I know like my aunts and my grandma that crochet, once it starts getting warmer, they don't do it quite as much. They do it more often in the winter. Yeah, same Nicole. I mean, the TV is probably like always on, but for me, it's more of like noise. I enjoy reading more than watching TV. It's funny because I live in New York City, and the most famous, actors or whatever could walk right by me, and honestly, I wouldn't recognize them. Like where I work in Queens, they film Law and Order all the time, and I've definitely walked by a few of them, and I had to like Google like who did I just walk by? Like who's on here? But even though I don't watch TV, it is cool seeing them, filming around the city and stuff. Except on days when I drive in and then all the parking's taken up. Yeah, same Nicole. I actually like YouTube started when I was in college, but I never really watched it too much until I started sewing. And then now I go to it often for usually sewing. Sometimes if I am like working, I'll use it for like music and stuff. Oh, that's really cool, Terry. Yeah, in Long Island City is right near the water, and you have like this gorgeous view of the Manhattan skyline. And so they film there a lot, and it also has a lot of warehouses that they film in as well. Yeah, Nicole, I would say 2020 is about when I started to, maybe a little bit before. I had just started teaching myself to sew in the middle of 2019. But then, yeah, with COVID and lockdown, that's picked it up and watched a lot more. Hi, Mary Lou. Aw, you're babysitting. Aw, I hope you're having fun with the grandkids. Oh, Mary Lou made a Guardian backpack, and she used this sunflower print that I was showing everybody in our newest fabric, the Majestic nylon, and it turned out so good. I was so happy that when you shared it, it came out beautiful. Is it warm, Mary Lou? It was gorgeous here today in New York. I'm sure starting to warm up there too. Oh, I didn't hold my threads. I think I just jammed it. Oh, that's really cool. They did Men in Black 3 in my neighborhood here when I first moved here. It's been a while. They took one of the bowling alleys, but it was the same thing, Terry. They had all the old cars and everything out front. It's really neat to see how much actually goes into a film or TV show. Oh, Mary Lou, it's still cold. Maybe because you're by the water. Hopefully soon. Yeah, it's funny here. It's like in the morning it might be a little chilly, and then by the end of the day I'm warm. So I've been wearing my like winter jacket to work and then taking like a sweater for the trip home. Oh, it folded on me. I totally missed that piece right here. This is the one that's a little bit more stretchy than the rest. I'm just gonna go back over. And something like this, I don't worry. This project is like just for fun. So if there's like little mishaps and whatnot, I don't stress about it too much. Yeah, it's really interesting, all the different techniques that they have and employ. All right, I think this is long enough, or maybe like one more strip. Okay, if I go right to the end, I can fit, this is going to be the exterior, I can fit 2 of these. So what I think I'm going to do is put the fusible fleece behind it and just like top stitch along each of the vertical lines to kind of quilt it and just to hold it into place. And also because I think that method won't take that long instead of like a more intricate pattern. Glide thread. No, so this is what you can see on the shelf here. This is all Tex 35 thread from Wizardry Stitchery. Their website is like geekyhardware.com, and it's bonded polyester, and they sell their thread in Tex 35 and 45, which is really good for domestics. And I think they either have a higher one, maybe 80. I don't know if it's 75 or 80 for industrial machines, but they also have matching thread for cover stitches and sergers, and it's my favorite thread to use of all time. I literally have bought every single color that they have. They have a great assortment of variegated threads, and 9 times out of 10 that's what I try to grab. For this one tonight I'm just using their plain gray, just because with the jeans it just blends in so much. But yeah, it's my favorite to use. Hi, Lucy. Oh, that's great. It's been gorgeous here too. All the kids have been like playing in the park and stuff. It's like, oh, springtime is finally here. Hopefully it stays that way. Oh yeah, Terry. Yeah, definitely check them out. This zipper pull, the sunflower zipper pull, is actually from them as well. They're from Louisiana and ship really quickly. It's Tex, Tex. I think that is different from weight. So yeah, the 35 is what I use in my machine, and I use it in the top and the bottom, or like the bobbin. I can use 45 in the top, but my machine didn't like 45 in the bottom, so I just stuck with 35, so I didn't have to buy multiple sizes. Yeah, I think it's not supposed to rain here until the weekend, so I'm hoping it stays nice. The weekend I don't mind, because I don't have to commute. It rained the other day and I was drenched by the time I got home walking from the subway to my house. So Lucy, I'm just making a pouch. I cut out this shape in Illustrator earlier. I wanted to do just a quick pouch, and usually I like to ask designers permission before if I use one of their patterns on a tutorial or even the live. So I was like, all right, well, let me just print out something that I can easily follow along or, make work on the fly. So I'm sewing strips of jeans. I cut 2-inch strips and just sew them vertically. And so now I'm just basically top stitching them along the seam onto some fusible fleece. Oh, good point, Mary Lou. Yes, on their website, they don't call it thread. They call it sewing string. And it's the cutest story because the owner's dad called it that. And so they officially named it that. All right, perfect. Text 80. I wasn't sure what size they had because I know they have one size and I think Saya Swag sells the other. Or like a slightly different, so. Yeah, Terry, if you try it, I'd love to hear what you think of it. It, like I said, it's my favorite. I use it on everything. And if I'm making like a bag, I use it. If I'm doing like quilting, I have a whole bunch of like Gutermann still that I'll use. But if it's a bag, I'm using the Tex 35 always. And I want to say, I don't know what, I forgot what the price is right now, but there's so much thread on it. And, yeah, how does it say? 2,960 meters. So I've been using them for a really long time. I think my oldest thread is the black, and I still have so much on it. Okay, text 70. Thanks, Lucy. I knew one had one size and then one had the other for industrial, but I've never purchased the industrial, so I wasn't 100% sure. And I'm top stitching this to hold it into place, but as soon as I'm done this side, with the jeans, it blends so much that you can't even really see it. You only really see it on the light colored fabric. So it's more to just, I wanted to use something to give it a little bit of support. Yeah, the Tex 45, it worked on this Singer. And I know some people use it in their domestics, but just I don't think I know anybody that really uses it in the bobbin. Only the top. And I'm hoping this pouch turns out good because I feel like it'd be fun to make some up. I think they would make great gifts, or usually if I have bags that I'm not using, I'll put on my Etsy, or I like to do local craft shows. So I think this would be a nice size. for that as well. So we'll see. And I only, I just moved the thread. I didn't like cut the tails or anything, because I'm gonna cut this out now. I have one more spot that I go over here. Yeah, for domestics, I usually just say just go with the 35. I don't really notice much difference between the two sizes, between 35 and 45. All right, so yeah, you can only really see the top stitch on the lighter colors. But I just like that the fusible fleece will give it some more support. And I left my scissors on the side table. And instead of using a rotary cutter, I'm just gonna cut along the fusible fleece. Basically, use it as my pattern piece. I'm just cutting around the box corner here. And I know that my machine can handle thicknesses, so I'm not cutting the outside larger than the fusible fleece. The fusible fleece is going to end up in my seams and along the zipper. But I know that my machine will be able to go through it. So I guess that's something to be mindful when you're sewing, when it comes to interfacing. All right, so that's one side, and I'm just going to quickly do it for the other. And I think that there should be plenty of room. I think I sewed enough that. And I'm just trying to open up the seams. I probably could press them, but I'm not stressing it too much. I definitely didn't want to have to iron, so. Oh yeah, there's plenty of extra space, so this worked out great. Oh, Lucy, I'm so glad that you know like the difference with weights and text. I do not. I know that on their website they'll say like they have the different sizes and it'll be like recommended for sergers, or cover stitch or whatnot, and then I just followed that. I actually, let me see. So this is their Tex 45 roll. It's the first one I ever bought because I thought it would work. But I didn't, like I said, I couldn't use it in the bobbin, and it drove me nuts that my bobbin thread would not match my top thread. So to give you an idea of size, this is the Tex 45 on the left. This is the same, it's called Unicorn Mane. It's like one of their rainbows. And this is the 35 on the right. So, and then, like I said, when I look at the thickness, I mean, fortunately you're not going to be able to see it really in a video. But I don't really notice that much of a difference between the two. I also bought the Tex 45 when I was more just starting. So maybe now that I know more, I could be a little bit more like play around with the machine more to make it work. Yeah, Lucy, I appreciate that. That's one of my favorite things about the sewing community. For the most part, I have found that people are very helpful and willing to, share their knowledge. So, Terry, for me, I have Tex 35 in both the top and the bobbin. So I use the same. But there's some people that will put like a 45 in their top, but then just use like a plain Gutermann in their bobbin. And for me, I didn't want to do that because I wanted them all to match. Because with the Tex 35, I did not have to adjust my bobbin tension or anything like that. It just fit perfectly and worked right from the get-go. And this is stretching like a tiny bit, especially the light colored side. I probably should have pin basted this to hold it, but I'm just trying to do it quickly, and I'm not worried too much if it's not like perfectly straight or if it shifts a tiny bit. One of the threads when I reverse directions got caught on a little tiny screw on this side. And I'm just choosing to follow the lines of the strips that I've sewn together. But a lot of times I like to do like diagonals or whatnot. I don't know why I like the diagonals so much. I tend to do that like all the time if I'm doing like trying to quilt something into place. So I'm excited to try something different with the stripes. Hi Gail, how are you? Oh, see, yeah, so wow, 70 on top. What do you sew on, Gail? That's great that I can go up to that. Oh, that's great, Lucy, that you don't have to adjust the bobbin. Mine, like the 45 just kept getting stuck. But it also, like I said, I bought that when I first got this machine from my aunt. So maybe it'd be worth like trying again to see if I could get it to work. Oh, that's great, Mary Lou. I didn't know that Indo Love has thread now too. I feel really fortunate that we, know about and share all these custom shop places, especially, with Joann's closing here. Terry, do you do the quilting on a long arm or do you do it all on like a domestic? Or wait, you might have said earlier that you do it free motion. Oh, that's great, Mary Lou. I'm gonna have to check that out. Although I like I said, I have a ton of thread. I bought in pretty much every, I think every single color. Definitely every variegated. I have not bought the like the single neons yet from Wizardry Stitchery, but I definitely have like a whole rainbow going over here. I haven't had a bag or anything that I've sewed yet that I didn't have a thread that matches, so. Oh, that's great. I've seen the Grace frames being used. And the 201 has, I believe, like has a lot of like throat space for you to be able to work too. Okay, that's what I thought. So I am thinking of the correct one when I think of the 201. So yeah, you can see like right here where it's a little bit wrinkly in the lighter color. But again, I'm not too worried about it because this is gonna be like I wanted it to be able to squish and not be so structured, so I'm not upset about it. And so again, I'm just gonna cut this out. I'll have to see with the lining because I know when you do the quilting, it makes it a little bit like it shrinks up. I'm hoping that is not too much. I am going to take the larger seam allowance with the lining anyways to make it tighten up a little bit. So I'll just going to check them. Maybe I'll have to do an even larger seam allowance. So perfect. So now I have my two exteriors and the lining. So I need to prep my zipper. I just have this black zipper tape. We call it our Majestic tape. I'm not sure if the camera is really picking it up, but when the light hits it, it has like this one almost looks like a greenish blue. So depending on the fabrics that you put it near and the way the light hits, it has like a slight color change to it. And it almost looks black. So I always use our gunmetal pulls with it because our gunmetal is like a darker shade. So I am going to put a zipper tab on one end, but I'm going to do the other where we turn it 90 degrees. So I'm just gonna put this pull on first, and then I'm not gonna cut anything down yet because I didn't do the math to measure, so I'm literally like gonna hold it up and figure it out. But I want to turn down my edges first. A pattern that I'm filming now for next month has you turn as you're sewing, turn the zipper tape to get that 90 degree. But I definitely need to practice it before I get to that part because I can never get a clean turn when I do that. Oh, did you, Beth? I can't wait to see what you made. You're like a machine. Beth is always turning out bags, and Beth has her own YouTube channel. She's doing a really cool series that Fridays she's been doing Frugal Friday, so a whole bunch of free patterns. So definitely check out her channel if you don't already follow it. Wow, I just won bobbin chicken. So I was like, oh, where's the other thread? So I'm gonna wind it real quick. This is another thing I've said it before where I don't really wind them ahead of time. I mean, I do have extra bobbins, but like for example, I have a bobbin full right now of every single one of the threads that are here, and it's not that difficult to wind them, so I just do it while I'm at the machine. Oh, you're welcome, Beth. And these bobbins aren't huge, so they don't take that long to wind. I actually probably would have had enough had I not did the quilting. One thing that I like about this thread, and even like any polyester thread, I think it was one of my biggest struggles with Aurifil and cotton thread, is because it's polyester and it's bonded, it's a little stiffer. So I find it much easier to thread the needle where the cotton wants to like flop around. So I always struggle with that. But with the polyester, it seems to go fairly quick. All right, so I have my zipper tape turned at the end. I'm just gonna stitch them and hold them in place. And I just do them both at the same time, making sure I leave my presser foot up and put the needle down to make sure that I'm catching it, and then put my presser foot once I know that I've caught both the back and the front of the zipper. I'm just cleaning. The one thing is that you just got to clean up because there's so many threads here, and if you don't, you might end up seeing them. All right, so this is how, if I don't know a measurement or if I'm adapting a pattern, I'm gonna do a a 3/8. I like 3/8 seam allowances. It just gives me more clearance. So I literally am just holding up my zipper and eyeballing like where I want it to be. Because I'm gonna add the zipper tab and try not to catch it in the seam allowance. I mean, yeah, in the seam allowance on the side. And I'm just going to use a extra piece of jean. And personally, I like the 4-fold method where you just fold it into the center and pinch the zipper tape between it. And I like to top stitch both sides of that edge, so that way I'm really making sure that I'm catching the zipper tape. Because I've done it before where I've only done one, and sometimes the zipper tape wants to come out. And I always cut my tabs a little longer so that way I can catch like the edges easier and trim them off after I've attached the zipper. I mean, yeah, after I've attached the zipper. Hi, Katie. How are you doing? Katie, what colorway are you doing for the puzzle mystery quilt this time? I'm excited for Cotton Cuts. I'm doing their flyway quilt, and some of their colorways, there was snowstorms and then they had people sick, so they're still shipping some, and my box is set to arrive on Friday, so I'm super excited. It's the batiks that I've been talking about. Oh, Phoenix. The Phoenix is gorgeous. That's exactly what I chose. I'm excited because it's going to look like fall colors. My two choices were the Phoenix and then the Flamingo. And I'm doing well, thanks. Okay, so let me check the lining because like I said, this might be a little bit smaller. It is maybe by like 1/4 of an inch. I'm just going to take a larger seam allowance and I think it will be fine. So I am going to, usually I baste my zipper on first, especially if I want it to be straight, but I'm going to just pin or clip both my lining and my exteriors together. And I'm just sewing up a zipper pouch, like just a small pouch. I sewed some strips of jeans together, and it's going to be small. I think if you include all the way from edge to edge, it's 9 inches across and 7 inches tall, but it's going to come down a little bit because of the box corners. All right. So I'm just putting this right sides together. And one thing that I do is when I'm clipping, I move my zipper pull out of the way. I know that, we do that while we're sewing, but I found that when you clip, if you, like you can see my pull is right here, there's like a bubble here. So I've really gotten into the habit of moving my pull out of the way when I'm clipping as well as sewing. Oh, I just broke a clip. All right. And so this waterproof canvas is Pro Tough from Walmart. And I really like it just for the basic colors. But my machine hates sewing that plasticky PVC side. If I'm sewing that, I have to use a Teflon foot. And my zipper foot, I only have a metal zipper foot. So I'm going to sew with the waterproof canvas side down. So it took me a while to figure out about using a Teflon foot for the waterproof canvas, because you see it recommended all the time for like vinyl, but I have found that it was a big game changer with that as well. All right, so now I stitch the zipper. What I'm going to do is, this is where I'll trim off the edge of my tab and my zipper tape. So I'm pretty happy with how it is coming out so far. I personally like to top stitch through the lining and the exterior. I found when I don't top stitch, sometimes the lining wants to come up and get caught in my zipper pull. But because of that, I am only going to top stitch from the beginning of my zipper and the end of my zipper tab. If you go all the way to the end, that's where your edges will start to look funny. And I'm just switching back to my regular foot because that's what I use to top stitch. And as I'm top stitching, I always make sure I'm pulling my lining down, just again, so it doesn't get bulked up near the zipper, and especially because I put that fusible fleece, so it's kind of puffy. Oh, Terry, you're doing flamingo. I love that colorway. I was so excited when Sean got it. I'm just making sure I trim. Sometimes because I don't hold my threads, like the end gets stuck in the stitching. So yeah, that came out. I'm pretty happy with how that side came. So I am going to do the other side. And I'm just checking the back to make sure that it didn't sneak up on me. And I did not mark the centers of anything. So I'm just going to line up the edges of my pieces to make sure that I'm putting my zipper tape where I should. Alright, so I just clipped the center. I'm really terrible about that too, like marking all my stuff ahead of time. Do you guys mark ahead of time, or do you just kind of do it as you go? It's fun to do something different. I've been trying to challenge myself. Sewing with the batiks is one. I've never sewed with them. And also a couple quilts ago, I chose lemonade. And I'm not really a big yellow person. That had a lot of yellow. So it's definitely fun to switch things up every so often. All right, so now I'm just, again, clipping this other side into place. So far I'm really happy with this, and I think it's gonna come out well. I hope I don't jinx myself by saying that, but I'm pretty pleased with it so far. And again, I'm just switching back for that zipper foot. Yeah, I never really was drawn to yellow, but this was paired with some teal, and it really caught my eye, and I was so happy that I tried something different. Oh, Nicole, really yellow? When I was growing up, I really loved orange. I love all colors. I love bright and colorful, but I think if I had to pick one, I love green. And my birthday's May, so it's my birthstone emerald, so I'm quite partial to that. And again, just making sure I'm moving my pull out of the way. Is a May baby? Yeah, we have a lot of May birthdays in my like extended family, like aunts and cousins and stuff. It's always a super busy month because you throw in the birthdays and Mother's Day and like in Catholicism it's like what is it? Confirmations usually, baptisms, all sorts of stuff going on in May. Weddings. I've been happy that the last couple weekends I haven't had anything like having to go anywhere. I can just relax, and so because February is also a busy month. There's a lot of birthdays in my family in February as well. All right, perfect. So I am going to top stitch this side as well. And like I said, normally I base the zipper on first, but because this is such a small zipper and straight across, there's no curves or anything, it saved me time sewing both of them at the same time instead of one and then the other. Oh, I literally just put the zipper foot back on that I took off. And I have the screw in one. I used to like take a screwdriver and like sit here, and it deterred me at sometimes from using this machine. But then I realized that I could just like screw it in with my hand and it would work just as well. But I also keep like a little, like a dime, because it fits perfect as a screwdriver if I need it. And these seams are a little bit thick here because of the interfacing, that fusible fleece, but not too bad. It's not giving me a problem with my machine going through. Oh wow, November. Yeah, it's funny that how like sometimes they get grouped. November, I think the only one I can think of in my family, I have one uncle in November. All right, perfect. So I'm almost done. I am going to I'm going to open up my zipper and put them right sides together. Or not, yeah, right sides of the exterior together, right sides of the lining, making sure that everything lines up. And I'm hoping I gave myself enough clearance on the edge here, because I'm going to have to use the Teflon foot. Sometimes what I might do is just sew up to the lining with my regular foot and then like backstitch and then switch out, because the Teflon foot is not going to like the fusible fleece at all. I was like in my brain, I was panicking because I'm like, what did I do wrong? I didn't cut out the box corner on this side. I was worried. I was like, they're not lining up. One is so much shorter than the other. It's funny how so much of what I've learned from sewing is just like trial and error. I used to get so like overwhelmed by all the different interfacings and like, how do I know which one? And I really like learned that after a while and try out different ones, and just everybody has their own preference. So obviously, like, you know, whoever writes a pattern will design it or recommend ones. But I also like experimenting and seeing what works best for me and my machine. I think that's like the key, is like really knowing your machine and what is capable of. Aw, happy early birthday, Katie. And then on the bottom, I'm just going to make sure that I leave a gap to turn it through. All right, so actually, so while I have that, my regular foot on, I'm going to stitch the sides up to the top with the exterior. So have any of you tried any new patterns or anything that you've been enjoying working on? I find like I like to try like a new bag all the time, but then there's a few patterns that I really, they're kind of like, I don't want to say like comfort patterns, but I'll go back to them when I want to sew something familiar. You have several projects. My friend Liz, normally I don't like to have several projects, but I do now, especially with all the quilting and stuff. So she had recommended these folders that zip from Dollar Tree, or I think they sell them at like other dollar stores too, or Amazon. And so I have bought some, and it has been so helpful with keeping all my different projects organized. I was so grateful when she shared that tip. Oh, thanks, Katie. Yeah, I appreciate it. My channel's been growing like pretty steadily, so I've been really happy between the Tuesday night lives and monthly sewing marathons, and I've been trying to do like at least one other bag tutorial, and with cotton cuts there'll be 2 different quilt tutorials, so I've been quite busy with the channel. I appreciate everybody's help and support, because you know, watching helps, you know, bump it and whatnot. I definitely see an increase each week. Hey Nikki, how are you doing? Okay, so I have switched to the Teflon foot, And now I'm going to use that on the waterproof canvas side. And since I'm starting from the bottom, I'm going to use a wider seam allowance and then bring it back to the 3/8 up top. Oh wow, Nicole. Do you do like shows where you sell your bags? Yes, I agree, Katie. Busy is good. Well, busy as long as you're enjoying it, right? All right, so that worked out great. I did the wider seam allowance and then pulled it up to where I backstitched onto this side. So that worked out good where I didn't have any trouble with the Teflon foot sticking or my regular foot sticking on the waterproof canvas side. Oh, that's really cool, Katie. I love collaborating with others. I think it's also one of the reasons that I like doing the sewing marathons too, because it's just everybody supporting each other and helping each other grow. It's so fun. Or like Sean, I love when Sean has me on for his Saturday morning. Sean does a lot of quilting. His YouTube is at the guy who sews. And it's always fun, except for having to wake up early. So there is a group of bag makers that once a month we choose a pattern, and all day we sew up that pattern and have them set to premiere live. So like it will start say like 9 in the morning, one design or one YouTuber, then 10, 11. So this weekend we are sewing up this pouch. It's the Unagi Asymmetrical Clutch by Sincerely Jen Patterns. So probably starting tomorrow or Thursday, I'll start linking it in the like on social media. We have like a link tree and stuff, so that way people can just click, and then as we're watching them, we'll direct everybody to the next video. All right, and so now all I have left is the bottom, but I need to leave that turning hole. Yeah, I can't wait to see how this turns out, because it's going to be as much a surprise to me as it is to everybody else. Nikki, did you get your computer fixed for filming and uploading, or are you still having trouble? All right, and so I am not going to trim my seam allowances on this exterior side, but I am on the lining because I did a much larger seam allowance. I did a 1/2 inch on that side. This way I can just reduce some bulk. Oh my gosh, Nikki, that is a lot. Are you tech savvy? Do you know how to do that? I'm pretty like decent with technology, but my boyfriend is like the computer go-to person. So he replaces all of that and like added extra RAM and basically made it so that I could edit the videos. All right, so before I turn this out, I need to box the corners. So I'm just reaching inside, and I like to open up my seams and line them up on the center. And again, these are a little bulky because the fusible fleece is in it, but I don't think it'll be a problem. Oh no, Nicole. Yeah, I really love technology, but I like technically I'm a millennial, and we kind of my boyfriend and I talk about this all the time, where like we grew up kind of on that cusp. So we grew up like before the big technology boom, but then as it was going on, so we kind of like learned it as we were growing up. Wow. The Geek Squad. Aw, yeah, I mean, they're good. I mean, they know what they're doing. So, yeah, especially if you don't know where the problem is. I don't know if I could, like, build a computer myself, but I know a lot of the components and stuff. And I think I actually know a lot of it because my boyfriend watches this YouTube channel that's what they do. And I feel like I've learned so much just from watching it as well. Oh, software, not hardware. Yeah. Alright. That was a little bit thick, but not too bad. So I'm just going to get the other side. That's funny, Nicole. Yeah, it's hard, especially like I see it at work, or like even my own parents, you know, trying to explain things, especially trying to explain things over the phone. Oh, that's awesome, Terry. I'm sure that was really helpful, like, in the classroom and stuff, too. Alright, I didn't trim down the sides of the exterior, but where these corners are, it is a lot of bulk, so I am going to trim that down just a tiny bit. Oh, that's really good, Nikki. Yeah. So, I mean, so many people don't back up, like myself included. I have some things backed up, but not all of it. I really need to be more proactive about that. I'm also one of those people that like never delete anything. So that's a problem too, because then it fills up the drives. Alright, so now I'm just boxing the corners on the lining side, and I had trimmed that before doing this, so instead of butterflying the opening, I am just pressing them opposite ways. Oh, that's good to know. I'll have to check that out, Nikki. Yeah, Terry, so that's kind of me too, especially in District 75. We use technology so much to help the kids that same thing. I started doing like robotics with them, and then brought in like Minecraft education. They actually have a teacher position, so I think many of you guys know that I'm working in one of the main offices right now, and next year they have a team that is going to go in and show schools basically how to use technology appropriately in the classroom and efficiently, especially in a post-COVID world. So I actually applied for that because I have to, my position is just like a 2-year position. So I have to either find something new or go back to my old school. Um, so we'll see. I'm trying to stay. I really like working in the central office and going into schools. So we'll see what happens. Oh, wow, Terry. That is so cool. I used to go to all the District 75 tech or science professional developments that I could. Yeah, so technically my role, it's not a coach. It's called a peer independent evaluator. So I'm like going in and I'm like a middle person between the union and the DOE. So I can't actually coach the teachers. I'm just going in and evaluating as like a third party and writing up a evaluation. And so because it's like built into the contract, I think maybe like the last 6 or 7 years, and to keep it impartial, they make it so it's only a 2-year position. So if anyone's wondering, Terry retired from the same district that I work in currently. And District 75 is special. It's just like one big family. It's a special ed district. So it's kind of like this special bond. When you hear someone works in District 75, it's like, oh. All right, so this will be the ultimate test. Let's see. So I have my box corners done, and we're gonna turn it right sides out, and hopefully it looks nice. Yeah, Terry. Yeah, so my time's up. So it's either I have retention rights, so I guaranteed to have a job, but I really want to stay working in the district. I've been spoiled working in the office. I didn't think about this when I did it. It doesn't look bad, but I could have done better with lining these up. I just kind of placed them. All right, and so this side here is where my zipper teeth were curled, so I don't really have to worry about poking anything out here. But on this side where the zipper tab is, I need to really make sure that I'm pushing it up. Yeah, I've never really carried anything denim. I think besides like wearing jeans or a jean jacket, but for whatever reason, I'm on a kick lately with how it looks, and I just also love the idea of repurposing it. So you can see that this side here, where the zipper tab popped out really nicely, and that's because I stopped the top stitching right at the zipper tab instead of going to the end. So I'm really happy with it. So I'm gonna poke out the corners here and then just stitch up the bottom. And I always, like, this is another one where if you wanted a really nice finish, you could hand sew. But I always I stitch it on the machine. That's one of the reasons why I put gray thread in. It's one of the few times that I will, like if I'm using a variegated or something and I have a color that matches, I will switch out my threads to make it blend in at least. And I'm just gonna top stitch it closed as close to the edge as I can get. I didn't switch out from my Teflon foot for that because it doesn't have trouble with the front side of water resistant canvas either, or waterproof canvas. And of course, sorry, my throat is getting dry. Of course, because I didn't hold my thread, it got caught up. So I'm trimming it out from all the stitches right now, if you're wondering what I keep cutting. Alright, perfect. So that should tuck in pretty nicely. Alright, so that actually turned out like pretty cute. I'm really happy with it. Do I have a ruler? Let's see. So it ended up being about 6.5 inches wide and about 5.5, maybe 5 3/4 tall. So I'm really happy with it. I think it'd be great because, you know, it's small. Here's the inside. I don't know how well you can see because of the lighting. But because I sewed the larger seam allowance, it fits pretty good. I think it would be great to put things in, and this would actually fit in like my regular purse. So if I needed an extra little pouch, or even traveling like medicines or whatnot, I think it's a good size. So hey, that turned out pretty decent. I'm happy that I tried it tonight and experimented. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in and joining me. I always say it every Tuesday, but I really truly do look forward to it. And I appreciate you guys popping in when you can, or those of you who try to make it every week. It truly means a lot to me, and I appreciate it so much. So if you follow me on social media, I will put the links. My video will premiere at 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, but I will put the link tree in case you want to catch all the patterns. And what it means, if you don't know, when it's a premiere, so the video itself isn't live, but all of us are live in the chat. So we all chat with each other while we're watching the new videos. So. Oh, Terry. Yeah, Dad usually gets off about 8:45 or so. He doesn't always make it to the end, especially if I go past 9. Dad is a morning person. My mom's the night person, so. But it's funny because tomorrow he'll come on and he'll either comment on this, or if I have a new video up, he'll go give it a thumbs up or like it. So yeah, any new thing that I post, he's always there supported. So. But all right, guys, I hope you have a good night. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you on social media or hopefully next Tuesday night. Good night. Bye.